Jax Tonic has been performing for years, but it's only now that he has released his first single, On the Front Foot, and we're going to talk about that and his previous musical experience. Hello, Jax.
Hi, Sophie. How are you going?
I'm very well, thank you. And from what I understand, you grew up on Sydney's northern beaches, which would have been, I imagine, a rock-heavy environment.
I did, yeah, absolutely. If people weren't sort of in music, they were a cousin or related to someone who was in music, basically. It was pretty rock heavy growing up, and the music was, it was pretty rock related. To say that you'd go out and love country and be playing country and things like that, it's sort of just become more of a thing, I think, in modern day, with it all happening like that. And
people who don't know the beaches, though, because I do know the northern beaches quite well, and there are a lot of pubs, just to set the scene. There are a lot of pubs, a lot of them are quite big, and for many years there were a lot of venues, a lot of great Australian bands like Cold Chisel and Midnight Oil played on the northern beaches in pubs. So it is a music environment, I guess, as well. I'm saying it's a rock environment because I'm thinking of pub rock, but there is a lot of music around there, rehearsal studios in Brookvale. Like it's a big part of the culture, I think.
Look, it is. And I think a lot of people have a chance to, get amongst it and I guess, network with each other and find other musicians and things like that. Northern Beaches has definitely got its fair share of really good musicians and bands.
Yeah.
Definitely find that.
So what did you grow up listening to?
Look, I sort of grew up listening to, most of those bands through the younger teenage years. And also, I used to grow up listening to U2 and bands like that. A lot of Aussie bands, Hoodoo Gurus, Midnight Oil, all those sort of rock acts and, just a whole mix of rock and roll. And my taste sort of changed, I suppose, in late teens when I started to look at rock and roll, old school rock and roll, and started to really enjoy Elvis and Buddy Holly and, Richie Valens when La Bamba movie came out, and sort of got a lot of inspiration from those guys, which was interesting.
Well, and also they're real performers. And so given that you actually would end up performing yourself, I'm wondering if at that age you were starting to think about performing and you're looking at someone like Elvis and seeing how he was on stage, because it's a particular skill, performance.
Yeah, I think I had a funny situation at school where I was in a band and I sort of went up to a sort of a trial to make it into a musical called My Fair Lady.
Oh, yeah.
And I just went there by chance and I sort of ended up getting a small part, and then later the main actor sort of dropped out playing Doolittle and they needed someone, and I tried out for it later after I'd sort of gone to a lot of rehearsals and watched how it was done, and I just ended up finding myself cast in that part as Eliza's dad, Doolittle, which was quite funny. So but yeah, all the guys, at school as well that I used to play with, they were all into music or had cousins who were famous musicians or things like that. So it was just everywhere, really.
Yeah. So did you do any more musical theatre after My Fair Lady?
I didn't really. No, I didn't really do that. It was kind of it's kind of something that just led me into, as you say, wanting to perform.
Mm-hmm. And
that performance side of things that eventually led me to do a solo gig around town, which I think I ended up doing about 1,000 gigs, for about 6 years. I was gigging 5 nights a week as the Duke Boy, which was the Dukes of Hazzard show.
Oh.
So I just came up with this idea. I love the Dukes of Hazzard, the General Lee, Hazzard County, and it was on TV and I grew up to it. So I just thought I'd call myself the Duke Boy and change the D to a J, like some people used to say Jukebox Boy, but
yeah.
I was wearing cowboy boots and, playing Coogee Bay Hotel and the Orient and all that sort of stuff. And that sort of led from those young teenage years and then going into performing as a solo act, which was good. Yeah.
So for people who don't know, the Coogee Bay Hotel and the Orient, they are party pubs. Or Coogee Bay was at the time. That was so you had to know what you were doing in order to keep a rather rowdy crowd preoccupied, I think. So given that it was a Dukes of Hazzard show, were you incorporating some old style rock and roll as well as some country music into that show?
Yeah, definitely. Like I used to play classics, you know, pub classics were always the go. Anything from Oasis, Paul Kelly, right through to Johnny Cash and Elvis, you know, John Denver, just all those classic songs people love to sing along to. And had the cowboy boots on and the jeans. And during that period, I actually did a couple of gigs with Troy Kemp at the Terrigal Beer Garden, Crown Plaza. So
I know
it. I've dropped this song now, and Troy sort of had a bit of a giggle. I bought his guitar back then, and I've still got it, and it still works. His Ovation acoustic. So he and I were having a bit of a laugh about that.
Yeah, right.
Which was great. But yeah, just playing those pubs. You know, Coogee Bay, we used to. You really learn how to mix your own sound, and we used to have to hire 2 400-watt subwoofers, and 200 people in that corner bar, and you'd have about 3 big speakers and 2 big subwoofers just to get that sound across, and you'd play from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So it was a good slog, yeah.
So when you said 5 nights a week, I was thinking, that's about 3 hours a night was a lot, but 4 hours a night, 5 nights a week. So was there ever a stage where you thought, I'm over it? This is a lot.
Yeah, look, that was a long gig, but most of the gigs were 3 hours, and I just was on autopilot. I loved what I did so much, and I was just doing it full time. Writing songs, just getting out and seeing people who, everyone who goes to a pub or somewhere who loves music, they're the best audience to play to. Yeah. So, it's just, they're there to enjoy the moment. And I had this backdrop, which was a spray painted picture by a graffiti artist who actually spray painted the Bondi wall, the mural there, professionally, and he spray painted the backdrop, and I got him to paint an orange Kingswood as opposed to the General Lee, and put an Aussie flag on the roof. Right. And that was quite entertaining for people just to look at my backdrop and just to see, like, before the show, and just to get warmed up and just show some attention, and just show them that it was going to be fun, and love connecting with people doing that sort of thing. So, but you do get to a point where you've been doing it for a number of years. I guess I just at that point I sort of had a little break for a while, because I just ended up settling down, getting married, having a couple of kids with my wife, and it just, life just whisks you away, and then you've always got that guitar there, and you're always playing. Friends come over, you have a few drinks, you'll start singing, you'll start jamming with a few friends, and it just kept going on and on and on while I wasn't really performing professionally.
Right. And
I just got to a point where I just, in the last couple of years, where I just really had a deep desire to return to it and take it further. Yeah.
Well, and you said while you were playing all those gigs, you were writing songs. So were you actually performing some of your originals in those sets, or was it just like songwriting was a secret thing you were doing for yourself?
Yeah. I was getting out and playing the songs, and, you choose the right sort of moment to play them. And all the things you were going through in your life, and all the the feelings you had and the experiences you had, you needed to express those, and I think every person does actually. So I was able to do it through my music, and play a few covers and pick the right moment, and then play an original. But I really found that my songwriting took years and years and years just to develop to a point where it is now. The time just feels so right for me now.
Right.
It's a strange cliche to say it, but it's actually true.
Well, I think there's a lot of cultural pressure to feel like you have to achieve everything in your 20s, like create that song, you put out that album, rise to the heights of what you're doing. But often, yes, it's time, experience, learning a lot of different things to get you to the point where you feel like you're ready to create something that is the most meaningful to you.
Yeah. It's anyone who writes, any songwriter would know, anyone who writes songs, it's like an author of a book. You go through this process through your life where you just evolve. And I just really found that I'd finally sort of evolved as a songwriter, and just the confidence in what you were doing, and having the ear to pick what works and what doesn't work. It's an interesting concept, but it just happens. It happens to you, and you know when you're creating something, and when you're ready to sort of take it out and share it with people.
Yeah, I think your point about having the ear to pick what's working and what's not is an important one, because you could either think everything's bad or everything's great and not be able to discern between them. But it does take being a music listener, I think, for a long time to be able to pick which songs are working, as well as all that road testing you did with all those shows. Yeah.
I mean, that sort of road testing came in very handy in the last year or so, since I started just getting back and gigging again,
Yeah, right.
Getting back out there. Like, I really just wanted to see whether I could do it. And I just contacted a few of the local pubs, and the Stain and the Ivanhoe down at Manly, and ended up going all around Sydney in the last year. And just amazing jumping back on a microphone and with a guitar, and that muscle memory, and how it's all come back, and all that experience over those years of mixing your own sound, and just getting up, and it feels like it's exactly the same. It feels like, I haven't had any time off, basically.
And have you been enjoying it as much as you used to?
Oh yeah, I think I'm enjoying it more.
Yeah.
It's different now. It is different. People are different. The way we communicate is different. The social media aspects. When I first looked at it, I was like, I'm not going to do that. I was like, I'm not going to do that social media thing and promote it or do anything. But you take little steps, and you learn off other people. You watch other people. But yeah, no, it's feeling good. It's feeling good, and I'm enjoying it. Definitely enjoying it. Yeah.
So now you're in the country music genre. So when did you, as a listener, embrace country music?
Look, I've got to say, I had a mix of music when I was even 14, 15. I was listening to even, dance songs like Michael Jackson and Madonna and all that sort of stuff. But I was also, as I said, sort of listening and really liking the sound of, the guitars and the rhythm and the way the country music sort of sounded, even from Slim Dusty and, like all those guys sort of just creating this Aussie sort of feel to the country music. So it did start at, I'd say, my teens, and it's really stuck in there. And I guess just evolving in the last sort of 15, 20 odd years, it's just got more and more. And I've just enjoyed the music more, the artists, listening to the artists. So when you're hooked.
Yeah.
And I'm hooked. So
who are your favourite artists at the moment?
Oh, geez. I mean, I really like Morgan Evans.
Right.
In terms of some of the Aussies and things like that. I do like Troy Kemp, McAllister and Kemp. I like those guys. Just a number of them. Listening to them, a whole diverse range from Luke O'Shea. I love listening to Amber Lawrence. I've been listening to a bit of Seaforth.
Oh yeah,
those guys have done really well, and I really enjoy that. Like Andrew Swift, yeah, just really. I mean, I like the American artists as well, and but I'm being immersed at the moment into the Australian scene, and I'm blown away by the talent. These people are just awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm actually so glad to be amongst it. I'm grateful to be amongst it, I guess.
Yeah, look, it's why I cover it. I think it's there's an amazing depth and breadth of talent in this country. And Troy Kemp, whom you mentioned, he's great with a duet. And given that you two used to share gigs, maybe you could hit him up for a duet.
Maybe one day. I'd love to.
But speaking of the song that you do have out, it is called On the Front Foot. It is your debut single, particularly in country music. When did you write it?
I wrote it, I think it was about June last year, I think. And it was just, it was a song that just sort of just really, like the music just came straight out. And then I started just really finding this lyric, which sort of started to remind me of the night that I met my wife, actually, and just going out. It was an awesome night. Obviously I ended up marrying her, so she had to do something to make it right, and it was just that attraction and that whole night and the chemistry and a really strong bond and attraction. It's quite a funny song because I tried to get a number and she said, "Oh, I'll get yours." So you end up sitting back and sort of waiting after that happens and just wanting to catch up. And the song's kind of about that. It's about your vulnerabilities and how you open yourself up and going through those thoughts the way humans are when we're attracted to something or we want something. And then it talks about in the second verse seeing that person, which is kind of a bit creative for my situation with her, but it still makes the song exciting because you see that person in the distance and you want them to sort of call you, but you can't really do anything about it because you've got to sit back and play it cool. So
Look, it is a great upbeat summer song. I know we're not quite in summer, but it's been released in time for summer playlists, for long drives and that sort of thing. And I was reading that you would listen to some Adam Brand, I think, and you were trying to work out, who had worked with Adam to help him get this sound, and it was Luke Wooten. And you approached Luke. So first of all, out of that, I'd like to know, is Adam a leading influence for you? And second of all, how did you come to contact Luke?
Yeah, look, Adam Brand is just inspirational. I remember reading his story in detail and his life and what he's gone through to get where he is, and I'm behind the guy 110%. I've got to tell you, like, I really felt every little bit for that guy. And when I listen to him sing, I love it. I absolutely love it. He's a really good singer. I love the way he makes his lyrics come across so simply, but they're so detailed and technical. So I was listening to Adam Brand and I went to Spotify song credits and saw this producer's name, Luke Wooten, and I was doing a lot of homework in a short space of time. So I just Instagram messaged him, and he got back to me a month later with his email. And I recorded 5 songs, sent them to him, and he emailed me the very next morning. And my wife thought I was lying, so I was jumping up and down at about 6 a.m. when I saw the email. And he said, "Hey Jax, I love your songs, and get them over here, and we'll mix them and we'll master them for you."
Right.
So that was a pretty good inspirational moment. Yeah.
So it sounds like you have more than one lined up, ready to go.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I've recorded a few. He's mixed and mastered a few. We're going to just release them as people want them, and you know, put them out there. But I'm constantly writing as well now. Like I'm writing a lot of songs, and yeah, and some of the new ones are sounding quite interesting as well. You know, I can't wait to get those out. Looking forward to that.
And he's not the only very well-credentialed person you've worked with this song, because the person who directed your music video is the current holder of the Golden Guitar for Best Video of the Year, Jax Tonic. So did you contact Jay as well out of the blue and just say, hey, I'd love you to do my video?
I did. I sort of did a similar thing, and I sent him the song, and he said he'd take a listen and tell me what he thought. He straight away, he just went, man, this is great. Love to do this, love to work with you. And he's just been an absolute pleasure to work with. The guy is so switched on. It's phenomenal. And yeah, just his attention to detail, you know, even in that video, the moments that he can capture and express, you know, you sort of just go, yeah, that's right. That's you know, that's spot on, exactly what I wanted to come across. And he put an influence of the Northern Beaches on it. And, you know, I let him do his work and create that. And you know, at first I was like, oh, you know, should we just be in the country, you know, like, he's like, no, you're here on the Northern Beaches as well. So let's use this place, you know, let's put it in the video.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's great. And he plays music as well. The guy can sing and play guitar like a legend. So, wow, you know.
Look, I would imagine he's also super busy, so it was good work to book in with him. But at this time of year, I tend to ask people, do they have Tamworth plans? So are you thinking you're playing at the festival next year?
Yeah, I'm definitely playing at the festival. I can't wait. I think I'm going to have about 10 or 15 gigs.
Oh, right. Well, yeah. you're used to the pace, right? So
I'm happy to get out there and get amongst it. I'm going to be everywhere from busking to, you know, shopping centres, stages, right through to pubs. So people can come and get down there and enjoy it. You know, and I'm going to get amongst it and really just get down there. I can't wait to put all the faces to names as well of people that I've seen and heard about, and I can't wait to get to a couple of shows myself and just kick back and have a few drinks with some punters. Yeah, if
you have time, by the sound of it.
I will. I'll find time.
Also, part of what I love about that festival is the shopping centre gigs and the busking and everything, because it means that people can walk pretty much everywhere in town and there's someone playing music. So it's a really good opportunity to discover new artists and just carry on your day and roll on to someone else. So you're in all the right spots by the sound of it.
Yeah, it's country music heaven, basically. It's, you know, anyone walking around and just can go to any direction and find good music or get amongst it and find new music talents and yeah, just the whole cultural aspect of it. Everybody's going to be down there and enjoying the same thing. And what better place in Tamworth, you know? Yeah. So it's a great place.
Well, I think in saying it's country music heaven, you've given it the best rap, and people can see you play. No doubt you will play On the Front Foot, which is your new single, and some other singles as well. And Jax, it's been lovely to talk to you.
Thanks, Sophie. Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure.
Cheers.